Hey everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. I am. We're having a very sunny, hot summer here in Israel, but we are nice and cool in our air-conditioned house here in Efrat. Anyhow, here is day 9, and hope you enjoy the message. Let's stay focused and integrate them into our lives. Right on to the message. Of course, those are the sounds of the shofar, and we will blow the shofar in Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year's. However, there is a custom to blow the shofar every single day leading up to Rosh Hashanah, except, of course, the day before Rosh Hashanah. What is the meaning behind the shofar? So there are multiple layers of meaning, and many different suggestions have been made, but a very famous one is the one of the Rambam or Maimonides, who said the shofar is like a spiritual wake-up call. It's an alarm clock. Of course, it's not an alarm clock just to get you out of bed, but it's a spiritual wake-up call. But what does that mean? Well, I think we need to consider the following. There are two different kinds of alarm clocks, and to which is the shofar comparable? So one kind of alarm clock is that you set when you go to bed at night. So you go to bed at 10 o'clock, you need to get up at 7. So you get a good 8-9 hours of sleep, no problem. The alarm goes off. You gently get out of bed, you turn it off, and you go do what you need to do. Then there's a second kind of alarm clock. You go to bed 10 o'clock, but you need to be at the airport early, so you have to get up at 2:30 in the morning. So after 4.5 hours of sleep, the alarm goes off, and you jump out of bed. You're totally disoriented. You don't know where you are for a moment, and then after a few minutes, it settles down, and you realize what's happening. So which kind of alarm clock is the shofar? So I want to illustrate it with a very touching yet sad story. Rabbi Soloveitchik, who was one of the great leaders of American Jewry, who passed away in the early 1990s, tells this story. In the 1960s, his wife was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Now, in the later stages, when she was very ill, she couldn't go upstairs to go to sleep in her bedroom, so she slept on a couch in the living room, and he slept upstairs. So one night, there was a terrible storm outside. It was a very, very windy, stormy night, and a clap of thunder broke, and Rabbi Soloveitchik woke up from his deep sleep, and he heard downstairs where his wife was sleeping, the windows had slammed open. And he was very worried because in her weakened state, if she caught cold, it could be devastating. So he puts on his robe and he runs downstairs quickly to the room where she was sleeping in the den. And he puts on the lights and he sees the windows had in fact slammed open. And he looks over at the bed where she was sleeping, and there was no one there. She had in fact passed away 2 weeks prior. But that one moment when he saw that no one was in the bed and he was totally disoriented, he thought one thing, but in fact, the reality was completely different. That is what the sound of the shofar is. The sound of the shofar is to wake us up from our spiritual sleep. It's to help us, for those of us who have fallen asleep on the job, and to tell us that you thought life was one way, in reality, it's 180 degrees different, and you need to make some changes. That's what the shofar, the sound of the shofar, is about. And habit, just going with the flow, is one of the most difficult things to overcome. The psalmist, King David, writes in the Tehillim, in Psalm 30, says, Ani amarti b'shalvi balemot le'olam. I said in tranquility when everything was going well, things will never change. But we have to realize that in life we have to be constantly examining and looking at our ways. So the exercise is to look at every part of your life, how you behave as a spouse, in your relationship to God, in your relationship to other people, in your work, everything you do. Are you on the right path? Are you on a spiritual path? Or do you need to make a 180-degree turn? And that's the sound of the shofar. It's to wake you up and to say, hey, it's time to make some very significant changes. So that'll do it for today. Hope you enjoyed the message. I put a lot of effort into these, so I do appreciate the feedback that I get from some of you, but really hoping you're enjoying these. So let's sign off here. Have a wonderful day. We'll go out again with the music of Rabbi Shlomo Katz.